It is no secret nor great revelation that the earlier we begin our musical studies, the greater our chances of becoming a superior musician. The great music educator Zoltan Kodály, when asked when music education should begin for a child, replied, 9 months before the birth of the mother. Therefore then, even though you may not have any formal musical training, you are your child's first music teacher. This begs the question then, how do we learn music? Beginning in the late 1950s, music psychologist Dr. Edwin Gordon began researching that same question and spent his entire teaching and researching career, almost 60 years, investigating that same question. How exactly does the human being learn music? At the heart of Gordon's research are the parallels between the way we learn music and the way we learn language. Although certainly not a novel idea in music education, Gordon clarified the process. If we learn music the same way that we learn language, and thinking is an important part of the language acquisition process, then there must be a musical thinking. Gordon calls that musical thinking audiation. Gordon codified his ideas into a music learning theory. This theory, based on his research observing children learn music, is an excellent model for us to follow as parents and educators. The most important time in a child's musical life is during what Gordon calls the critical age, which is from birth to around 18 months. This is the time when our brain makes more connections, more synapses than at any other time in our life. Music babble, like speech babble, is what a child does when he does not yet understand the tonalities and meters of his culture. He may have his own tonal or rhythmic center, the same way that children make nonsense sounds in speech before they actually form coherent words. Your goal as your child's first music teacher is to help him emerge from music babble by slowly, gently, yet consistently exposing him to the music of his culture, just like you are naturally doing with language. We all learn by a whole, part, whole process. With language, we listen to our spoken language as a whole, conversations, sentences, complete thoughts. Then, when we are ready, we begin to learn the parts. We learn words. We begin to name things in our environment: mommy, daddy, cat, brother, car. Then we take those parts and return them to the whole by figuring out how they fit into the language at large as we give those words context. In music, the process is the same. We need to listen to as much music as possible. Many tonalities, many meters, many textures, many timbres. That is the whole of music. Then music is broken down into parts, small musical fragments, patterns. Ya, ya, ya. Ba, 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 ba. Then the parts will eventually be given context once we add them into the whole again. The best thing you can do for your child's music education is to sing short, simple songs and chants in as many tonalities and meters as possible to your child. If you just put on the radio, the majority of the songs will be in major and duple and will not offer sufficient experiences for your child to make comparisons. An integral part of singing to your baby is to include as many songs and chants without words as possible. That is not to say that songs with words are necessarily bad. On the contrary, it's just that the brain, being more familiar with language, will naturally gravitate towards the words rather than focusing on the music. The point is to acculturate your child to music as much as possible, the same way that parents naturally do with language. Just as your child listens to a wide variety of spoken language, the whole, contrast in music is equally important. In one of his research studies, Gordon created 3 groups of infants. One group listened to songs only in major, another group major and minor, and the final group listened to songs in all tonalities. At the end of the study, the group that had listened to all tonalities eventually sang major more in tune. The reason is because we learn by contrast. If we only have major and duple, we do not have anything to compare them to. Singing in many tonalities and meters might seem a daunting task. However, you needn't know any of the theory of music to sing to your baby in a wide variety of tonalities and meters. Just learn some simple songs. There are many resources available for you to learn songs in varied tonalities and meters. And if you don't sing, providing listening experiences is the next best thing. Just be sure to have plenty of songs without words. In conclusion, the process for learning music is very similar to learning a language. To guide our children, we need to provide plenty of informal listening opportunities, and we need to spend time one-on-one singing, chanting, and moving with them.